Hey, everybody. Welcome to The Experience, live with Russ and Scott.
Welcome to The Experience, live with Russ and Scott.
Join us every Wednesday at 7 a.m. Pacific Daylight Time on LinkedIn, Facebook, and YouTube. Special thank you to our sponsors, the Gillette Home team of Keller Williams Willamette. For all your real estate needs, go to teamgillette.com. Have your dreams been buried under mountains of responsibility? For help, contact Emily Harmon, Coaching and Consulting at emilyharmon.com. Da, 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 da. Hey, we're both here on The Experience Live with Russ and Scott. So great to see everybody this Wednesday morning. We are so blessed to have you in our audience, and we are looking forward to an amazing show today, aren't we, Scott?
Oh, absolutely. You know, the 30 minutes that we run with The Experience goes so fast because
It does. Yeah.
we have the
And
most remarkable people on the planet right here. And we've got Christine and Madalyn today. Life is good.
It is. It is good. And, coming off our great backstage show on Instagram, The Experience Backstage, every Wednesday morning, 6:30 a.m. Pacific Daylight Time. Have that show ahead of time with our friend Shree from Houston, Texas, who gives us video tips and just makes Scott and I look good. Right, Scott?
Absolutely. I love, she's always got like challenges or different things that are going on that help people get better with video. And one of the beautiful things about video is that you can communicate emotion in a way that you can't in some of the other platforms that are out there. So take advantage of that and communicate with your audience fully.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, there's so many amazing things you can do with video and with the way you communicate and raise your visibility, but we're not getting into all that today. But just wanted to say we appreciate you being here and wanted to remind everybody today how much we appreciate you, and we would love to have you join our YouTube community. And there's a super simple way to do that, and that's by going to the experience.video. Experience.video, you can join our YouTube community. We would really appreciate that. Open a tab right now, a separate tab, and click subscribe, and you'll be set up with access to all the past amazing content on The Experience, as well as any notices about upcoming new content. So we'd really appreciate that. Also today, we're super excited about having Christine Madalyn on, but if you could share this out right now, let everybody know, whoop, whoop, let's get going with Christine and Madalyn, get the show moving. And
Let's
so
do
if you
it.
can,
Bring in the real talent.
There you go. The people that make us look good. And so share and tag your friends. We'd appreciate that. And don't forget, again, we're here every Wednesday, 7 a.m. Pacific Daylight Time for your viewing and listening pleasure. And this converts to audio podcast right after that. And you can listen to it on iTunes, Amazon, Spotify, whatever works best for you if you'd rather do it that way in your car. So just all kinds of ways, right, Scott?
Wherever fine podcasts are found.
So any highlights of your week, Scott, that you want to talk about? Or should we just jump into our guests?
Yeah, let's just jump right into it because, like I said, time's going to go fast. And I want to get inside their brains and extract some cool stuff and share it to the world.
There you go. There you go. Well, you know what? We're going to bring them in one at a time for a quick intro and then get everybody in the room. We're going to start with Christine over in London, England today.
Ooh,
hi.
Hey.
Hello.
Right. From an exclusive club.
Yes. And I love the red phone booth that she is in. That is amazing. And just her color.
I thought that was so funny when my friend told me, "Oh, we can book the phone booth for you because I don't have to bring my backdrop. I'm all set. The lighting could be better, but the color is spot on."
Beautiful.
Yes, it is. Hey, Christine, for the few people that don't know who you are, give us a little intro. Who is Christine? What are you up to?
Sure. I'm Christine Gritmon, and I think you are absolutely incredible. I'm really good at finding the awesome in people and encouraging them to bring it out. I help people refine, define, and express their personal brands in a bigger, bolder way online.
Awesome. And you do great work. Great work. And now you're
Thank
doing it
you.
from across the pond. And next up, we have Madalyn Sklar is here. Hey, Madalyn.
Woohoo.
Hey, everybody. Thank you so much for
Good to
inviting
see
me.
You bet. You bet. Well, anybody who's on Twitter knows Madalyn for sure. And so want to make sure that everybody just appreciates all that she does there. But before I jump into what you're doing, tell everybody, Madalyn, a little bit about you and what you're up to.
Yeah, well, people know me for Twitter, but, now we're calling it X. That's the new name, even though many of us don't like it. But people know me as, they call me the tattoo-wearing social media evangelist. I love that title, so I use that in my bio. I just love learning and growing and turn all this stuff, all this knowledge I gain and empower others to use it. So many times when you see me on social media, it's me trying to show off like you can do this too.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, first of all, the tattoos are great. And I've just never been brave enough to get a tattoo. My son's been working on me, but I think the problem with me is I'm not anti-tattoo. I just think I would get it and then look at it and say, why did I get that one? So yeah,
Well,
so
I like Jeff Foxworthy's take on tattoos. He said, I don't have any tattoos, but if I did, it would be right where my watch goes, and it'd be my wife's birthday and my anniversary.
Good one.
Very wise.
Something practical.
There you go. There you go. Well, listen, you both are all about empowering people and in guiding and helping and coaching and just really leading people in the expertise that both of you have. And Christine, you've decided recently to take that over to London. Tell us a little bit about that.
Sure. Well, I have an incredible support system over here already. I have so many friends out here, people I've worked with out here. And the crazy thing is I met a lot of them in San Diego, in the social media marketing world.
The
where I
world
initially met
goes to
Madalyn
the
as
social
well.
media marketing world, right?
Except I'm not going to in 2024, and it feels really weird. But yeah, so and I've been over loads of times as well. And my husband and I were talking over the past few years, and we just felt it was time for a family adventure. And this is a pretty safe one, as those go. So we're excited to travel all over Europe. It's so easy to do from the London area. And we're just going to have a cool experience. It could be a year, it could be forever. It's most likely somewhere in between. And it's exciting.
Yeah, I think it's very exciting. I think a lot of people are afraid to actually step out and take a chance and do those kind of things. Maybe something that has been burning on their heart that they've wanted to do for so long. And Madalyn, you are so good at pioneering things. I think a lot of times with what we do, people need to be able to take some risks, step out and make some changes, right?
Absolutely. I'm always experimenting and trying things just to see, just like Spaces over on X. Like, I didn't know if people would care about the type of conversations I wanted to have over there, but I thought, why not try it, see, just like when I started the Twitter Smarter Chat. I didn't know if anybody would show up. I just picked a Thursday afternoon back in 2015, and you got to try things to see what works. And if it doesn't, it's okay. Move on to something else. It's totally fine.
Yeah.
Well, I love that we have the two of you here today, given things that have changed in the world. And when people see things that change on social platforms, they go, oh, I love this and I don't like that. And don't worry, because tomorrow it's going to change anyway. The whole platform is going to change. The buttons are going to change. The colors, something's going to be different. But, of course, Twitter has rebranded, and we have Madalyn, the Twitter X expert, and Christine, the branding expert. What a great combination to put you guys together and dissect this and be able to use it to say, how can we be better at our brand? And should I rebrand as just D?
No, you should not. You should not toss your brand equity in the toilet like that, unless you've got a few $1 billion to burn.
Well, I think so many people just call you D. I can understand why you would consider that, but probably D's already taken. They've probably taken every letter of the alphabet, somebody. But,
Yeah.
Well, we know X is taken.
there you go. We know that. So with this change, Christine, you do your branding Twitter Smarter too. I said the name wrong, but I do your Twitter chat. That's what I meant to say.
Chat about brand.
There you go. That's it. And the only two that I try to make are your two on there. And I'm so horrible at it, but I really try hard.
Mine's on hiatus right now anyway, but Madalyn's is really like, if you do Twitter chats at all, you have to do Twitter Smarter. It's the must do.
Thank you.
Yes. And you're also doing, Madalyn, you're also doing a audio off of that as well, right?
Yeah, I'm doing a lot of different things. So the Twitter Smarter chat was started as an old school chat because let's face it, 10 years ago, 5 years ago, a great way to connect with like-minded people very quickly was a Twitter chat. But since Spaces has been around the last 2.5 years, there's a lot of people on the platform that weren't around when we were doing these old school chats. And when they hear us say chat, they thought we were talking about our Spaces. And there was this big disconnect between the groups. You had the old school chat people that didn't really understand Spaces, and the people in Spaces, it's like, what's a hashtag chat? I don't understand. And what a lot of people have done now is just combine it so that's just one conversation, but utilizing Spaces, because Spaces has just become an amazing way to connect with so many people through conversation. Audio, as y'all know, is so incredibly powerful. I have one that I do on Wednesdays called All Things Audio, and we talk about the latest social audio news, and we take that audio and convert it into a podcast, so that comes out a few days later. So it's just utilizing from these platforms, all these features, all these services they give us, is how can we take that and harness that in our favor with our brand?
Yeah. Yeah. And I think, you talked about repurposing that and making it a podcast as well. And there is so many opportunities, the stuff that Scott and I do, I know with my other live streams and this live stream, we not only repurpose pictures from the live stream, like all of us being crazy on the live stream and doing things, we'll get actual, snaps of that and utilize that. Then we'll take the audio and utilize that to become a podcast. And then we take video clips and we utilize that for things. And I think that people are really missing out, Christine, aren't they? Whether that's their branding or whatever they're doing for visibility, if they're not repurposing and using these for more than one use, right?
Absolutely. And I will admit that this is definitely a situation of the cobbler's children have no clothes sometimes with me. But I have finally hired somebody to help me. So I have my I used to just have a live stream every week called Let's Talk About Brand. And that's what it was. It was the live stream. But then I wanted to do a chat along with it because I enjoyed chats such as Madalyn's Twitter Smarter. So there was a chat, and I really enjoyed that on a different level because it drew people in, but it was always on the same topic as the week's show. Then I made the decision a few seasons in not to do a live stream. I said, you know what, we're still going to take video so it can go on YouTube and so we can repurpose clips, but it's going to primarily be a podcast. So it's primarily a podcast, but we will always do the video, even though I will say it's not getting much traction on YouTube. I will freely admit that it is doing much better as a podcast than as a video show. But the video means that we can get those clips, and I put those clips on Instagram Reels and things like that. And I'm trying to find ways to push it out a little bit more in this coming season. But yeah, just repurposing. So I'm going to start putting the transcripts up because that's good. That essentially functions as a blog if you do a little bit of editing. And it's just different people consumed information differently, and different people find information in different places. So It's always advantageous to take advantage of those things. I used to put the video up on LinkedIn as well. I don't anymore because it wasn't getting anything. But what I do now is I have a LinkedIn newsletter. The show's on hiatus right now, but when it's running, I now have a LinkedIn newsletter that sums up that shows, the podcast is there, the video is there, and some highlights from the chat. And that has gotten some traction because that's how the people who follow me anyway would prefer to consume it on LinkedIn. So it's just taking advantage of different ways people can find you, but also different ways that people want to consume your message, because that should be the goal.
Right. Yeah. And one thing, and Scott, I know you found this too, just like you said, Christine, people want to consume content different ways. Everybody is so different. And that's one thing that I love. I'm a huge proponent of live streaming because you get your live stream audience, then you get your replay video podcast audience, then you convert that to audio and you get your audio podcast audience. You take a picture and you get the people that just want to post, those people. Also, I always work to highlight just like you said, my LinkedIn newsletter, which I love. I think those things are great. And I do that every week. I have recently started because, they're all pointing at each other. You guys, just like they're showing up for each other. I do a poll that I've done lately that points to the newsletter, that often points to the live streams, and they're all pointing to each other. And Madalyn, I know that you're really good with all the things you've been doing of getting people aware of what's going on.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And I've been back into live streaming. I kind of went on a hiatus with live streaming for a bit, and going back to just me always experimenting and trying things. I just decided several weeks back, because X, formerly known as Twitter, has so many changes, so many things going on. Like right now, the new thing is they're being very transparent with the algorithm. So you can really strategize around that to make your posts work well for you. I thought, wouldn't it be great if I started a live stream where I just shared the latest news of the week of what's happening here on X? And people have been really receptive to that. And it's just a matter of just, coming up with ideas and executing it. And then you find something that works, you're hitting the right people that you're trying to connect with, then find ways to repurpose that content, and then put it on other platforms, other places. It's so amazing how much we can do, and that these tools, for the most part, are available at our fingertips, usually for free, or at a low cost. And it's just understanding how do these different things work, getting that power behind you so that you know what to do, and then just give it a go and execute on it.
Yeah.
One of the things that I like about the platform formerly known as Twitter was that it was very, I will say, pure in the sense that people weren't just posting pictures of their food or just a lot of the things that you might find on the meta platforms. And I wasn't getting instantly solicited from people who followed, because it's very open. If you don't protect your content, that is, make it private, then everyone can see everything. And I don't know, it just felt very open and free in that sense.
Yeah,
what do you think?
I totally agree.
Yeah. Oh, keep going, Madalyn. Go ahead.
Well, and also with these platforms, I think you get out what you put into it as well. And since Twitter is now X and Elon Musk took over, so many people complain and will say to me, the feed is terrible. I don't like this home feed, and I don't like some of these changes, and I don't like all this negativity. It's like, but you can control that. I think many times people don't realize they actually have quite a bit of controls at their fingertips. So if you're trying to, be around certain conversations, you can create your own custom Twitter lists, and so it's your own feeds that you're creating. I remember when Elon Musk first took over, I honestly don't like some of the things that he tweets out. I find some of it not professional, and I realized I need to just not look at those posts. I need to just focus more on my custom list of the people I want to talk to, the conversations I want to be a part of, and not the noise. So it's so easy to do. And you can also mute accounts, you can block accounts. Although I hear they're taking the block feature away. I don't know about that one.
They're not allowed.
That's just not, there's been a lot of debate going on with that lately.
Lists have been around for years and very underutilized.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
Well, and I always think the people that are complaining, Madalyn, it's just like, hey, welcome to life, right? You control. I'm all about live the life you choose, right? Everybody's always telling me I can't choose. I have no control. That's not true. You have no control, and you can't choose what happens to you. I understand that. from other people, but you get to choose from there. You can develop your community. You can develop the people that you want to watch. There you go. And you can really have so much more power than people think on where you're headed. And people just let life happen to them instead of really taking control. Right, Christine?
I wouldn't go that far. I'm still mad about the changes. But that's because, so
there you go. That's all right.
One of the things that makes me, so lists absolutely underutilized, absolutely brilliant. And that's really a fantastic way from turning your Twitter feed, your X feed, into a dumpster fire. But the problem is, I had my algorithm so beautifully trained and it allowed for more discovery. Because the thing about lists, you can still discover new accounts if they're engaging with the accounts that you chose to put on that list. But I'm thinking about all the people that I probably just wouldn't have encountered if I had those list kind of blinders on. I had a feed that knew what I wanted. The algorithm was so well trained that everything that it introduced me to on Twitter, people would talk about Twitter being a negative place. My Twitter was the happiest place. It was so supportive and inspiring.
I am not surprised,
and
knowing Christine.
That is shocking.
It's very tricky now because it has changed. And part of me says, well, I spent all those years training it. Do I have to train it again? And one big thing that I know, and I mean, I'm a social media professional. I know how these things work. I know that what I engage with is what it will show me more of. And I know that it's its job to show me things it thinks I will engage with. But previously, it used to show me things I would engage with positively. Now I feel like my For You feed is trying to bait me. I feel like it's showing me things that it knows I'm going to have a hard time biting my tongue on. It shows me things that I don't agree with. And, but I don't want my Twitter experience to be totally with the list blinders on. Like, I really love the discovery there and the conversation. So I'm not leaving Twitter. I'm definitely not leaving. I'm not calling it X either, but I'm not leaving Twitter.
And not posts? You're still putting out tweets and not posts?
Yes, I'm still putting out tweets and not posts. And he still calls them tweets. What's up?
He did in an interview. He said Twitter.
One huge thing as a branding person that makes me crazy about the whole X thing is that tweet became a verb to the degree that, these things don't generally. You don't Instagram, you don't Facebook, those are different things, but you tweet on Twitter. It's in dictionaries. How do you just toss that level of brand penetration? I don't understand. But yeah,
and that's where I say your branding, personal branding. I mean, we can learn a lot from what we see going on.
You can evolve a brand. Evolving a brand is a very different thing from just scrapping it and starting from scratch. And I don't think he does the evolving thing. I think he feels like, move fast and break things. And that works in some fields.
Put a big X, a light up X on your building.
Right.
I mean, it works in some fields, but I think he fundamentally misunderstands the concept of community. And I think he fundamentally misunderstands the fact that that is what makes Twitter great. It is not the tech. It is not the software. It is the community. And that's something that I think he doesn't really understand as a primary part of its value.
Yeah.
Well, that's a great point.
Yeah. Go ahead.
It's a 17-year-old company. Like how can we sit here and overnight go from Twitter to X and from tweets to posts? It's a process. And some people are just, they refuse to refer to it as anything new. I've been in the middle for a while. I was against it in the beginning, but I'm like, I'm in the middle. So I'll catch myself saying Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it. That was kind of like my little saying for a bit. I'm getting better at saying X and post. I know that this is the new reality for us, so I'm just trying to move along with it. But it's still, to have a company 17 years old and treat it like a startup, I don't think is smart. And that's, things break. And I mean, there was a time where Spaces didn't work for like a day and a half. And those of us that regularly host Spaces, it was very concerning. And we didn't know what was going to happen next.
That unfortunately gets back to the point that so many people make on social media, which is they say, don't build your house on rented land. And I know you, Madalyn, you have an email list, you have other things, beyond Twitter, but the fact remains, it is in a company's best interest to have people like you who are such, whose names are practically synonymous with the brand. And so it's very bizarre for them not to be valuing that kind of connection. I mean, I would think that, yes, if you are the rented land in question, if you are one of these platforms, I would think you would value the people who have built so much of their brand there. And I think you would value the fact that people like you bring people to the platform, keep people on the platform, teach people and encourage people to explore the platform, and to not put as much of it, to not have a value of that is I think it's very short-sighted. I think it's very...
I agree too, because when you think back to when Maury Smith was first getting known as the Facebook expert, Facebook hired her and they had her go all around, this was years ago, they had to go all around the US speaking to small businesses about the power of using Facebook for their business. I thought that was so smart. Other platforms should take the advocates that are preaching the loudest about how great the platform is. I mean, I never had any expectations Twitter would ever do that, but it was actually very refreshing to see that with Maury Smith and Facebook, that she had this great relationship with them early on, and they saw the power of her voice to help bring people in.
Wait, I think people can learn from these situations, the good and the bad, right? And just like you said, Madalyn, you're kind of in the middle now because you're learning this is the new reality. And whether we like it or not, a lot of times, this is what we have to deal with, right? And so we're going to make the best of it. Where are we going from here? And I think, even though you think it's unfortunate, I agree with you both wholeheartedly. Such a great job branding. Why, when it's not broke, don't fix it. That really does apply sometimes. You can evolve and get better within what you're doing, but changing everything over, like you said, and treating it like a startup after a 17-year-old company has been doing phenomenal and that it's created its own words in the dictionary. I mean, come on, I agree 100%. So, well, listen, as we wrap things up here, we're going to give you both one more chance to give us your gold nuggets of the day and how people get in touch with you. And Christine, we'll start with you.
All right. Well, I can still be found on Twitter or X, whatever you'd like. It's C Gritmon. I'm also C Gritmon on Instagram. I'm Christine Gritmon on LinkedIn and wherever else the heck I am nowadays. I'm not even sure. And I have a podcast on the Adweek Podcast Network called Let's Talk About Brand. You can imagine what we talk about there. And it's just generally my message to everybody is you have a personal brand, whether you acknowledge it and choose to invest in it or not, because a personal brand is ultimately the version of you that lives in someone else's head. Hopefully you want that version to be what you want it to be, and you do have some control over that. Maybe not as much control over some of the platforms, but but I definitely encourage people to get out there, to try things, to be like Madalyn, to experiment and build community and have conversations as much as you can, because ultimately your brand isn't a color and your brand isn't even what you post. Your brand is the relationships that you build. That's where it really lives.
Awesome. And Christine, your Twitter information or X information has been scrolling below you, below all of us, as well as all your information is in the show notes and the comments. So everybody just go and click on
also. I forgot.
There you
Gritmon.com.
That's it. And you can click right on any of those and go to Christine. And thanks so much. Madalyn, you're up next.
Yeah, I want to leave a just golden nugget that will help people strategize more on the Twitter X, whatever you want to call it, platform. So they've been sharing more about the algorithm. They're being very transparent, and actually they're planning to let us see the entire algorithm, which is very unheard of. But what we've been learning more recently, instead of just trying to get more likes and more followers, focus on getting people to reply to your posts. What the algorithm is saying now is that when people reply to your posts, that is now 13.5 times more powerful than one single like. And then here's the big nugget that we just learned about very recently, is that when somebody, as you as the author of the post, of the tweet, when somebody replies to you, keep that conversation going. You replying back to the person who replied to you is now 75 times more powerful than one like. And I am seeing examples of this in action with myself and with other people. And it's things like that I'm also sharing in my weekly live stream. I'm doing it on Fridays, calling it really not a terribly exciting name, but just X News Live, because that's what it is. I'm sharing X News and I'm doing it live in a live stream, but I'm uncovering like, here's new things going on and here's some strategies that will help you. And so just knowing little things like that. So just for everybody, the takeaway is focus more on that conversation, which is what we should be doing anyway. I mean, we're on social to be social, right? So just really focus more on those conversations and keeping those conversations going back and forth, and not always doing that quick little thank you or an emoji, but trying to have more thoughtful conversations back and forth. And I can be reached very easily. I have an unusual name, Madalyn Sklar, so I'm Madalyn Sklar everywhere, .com or at Madalyn Sklar. And for those listening, not seeing my name on the screen, is MADALYN SKLAR. So thank you all so much for having me.
You bet. You bet. We really appreciate you both being on today. And, I think that those little nuggets, Madalyn, are great. So all four of us, let's all reply to each other's posts and then reply back. That'll help me. I need to start being more active on Twitter. So I'm going intentionally to get people to reply more. My assistant is amazing at pushing out my live streams and that stuff, but I need to get a little bit more personal on things on there. So I'm going to work on that, Madalyn, and become an X-man, whatever it is. So listen. All right. Well, listen, thank you both so much for being here. We're going to say goodbye, but hang tight in the green room, and we will see you in just a moment. Thanks again.
Thank you.
I do that all the time. Cut people off. Sorry, Madalyn. So anyways,
the X-folk. I like that. That's good.
There you go. X-folk. Yeah.
Hey, it opens up rebranding the whole name. It opens up a whole new opportunity, right?
Yeah.
So there you go. We'll all be changing things on our web pages and email addresses where we put the new X logo in and remove the bird. So just an opportunity.
Well, listen, I just want to thank everybody for being here and remind you all that we'd love for you to subscribe on YouTube. The way to become part of our YouTube community is go to theexperience.video. We keep it simple. Please join today. And also remember, you can share this out now. You can share it out if you're watching on replay. You can tag your friends. We would love for you to engage in our content and give us your own pointers and your own ideas of things that you would like to see on the experience. We're always looking for amazing people. We don't have problems getting amazing people because Scott and I are blessed with so many amazing friends. But if you feel that you've got that amazing, which I know you do, and you want to be part of that, connect with us. We would love to connect with you. You can connect with me at russhedge.com, Scott at dscottsmith.com, and we would love to just really have a really authentic chat with you. Right, Scott?
Absolutely. And find me on X at _Scott.
Woo, that's always good. Yeah! All right. And with that, we're going to say goodbye to you today, but we appreciate you being here. Remember, every Wednesday, 7 a.m. Pacific Daylight Time on LinkedIn, Facebook, and YouTube. And ads and links go out on X or Twitter, as well as Instagram and all those other things as well. So until we see you again, have a blessed day and an amazing life. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.
Thanks for tuning in to The Experience Live with Russ and Scott. If you enjoyed today's show, please share it with others, post about it on social media, or subscribe on YouTube. See you next time.